So why am I not losing weight as fast as everybody else? Why am I not losing weight on keto? I thought keto was supposed to make me lose weight really, really fast. Why am I now stalling on keto? I've been doing it successfully for several months, and now all of a sudden I'm not losing weight at all. So hey there guys, Erin here again, another keto guide. The last poll that I put up, you guys pretty strongly wanted to know why it is I'm not losing weight on keto. So I'm going to interpret that to mean, not only why if you just started keto, why are you not losing weight, but also why you might not be losing weight as fast as other people are losing the weight, and maybe why you've suddenly stalled on keto. So I'm going to give my kind of advice, my thoughts based on my own personal experience and kind of the information that I've gathered as I've gone through this journey myself. So what's going on? Why is this happening? And I think the number one thing that we need to kind of cover are the three kind of minor things that might be affecting you, and one that is you miscalculated your macros from the get-go. You're following some bad advice for either calculating your macros or you did it wrong initially just because it's kind of complicated and it can be kind of hard to know exactly what to do. Calculate your macros based on your life being a sedentary lifestyle. I am very active. I work out every single day. I do a variety of different workouts. I burn approximately 500 to 600 calories per day just from extra physical activity. So a lot of people would recommend that I, could eat those calories or eat a little bit more because I'm so active. Because I actually want to lose weight, I base my calories off of the fact that 90% of the day I am sitting at a desk, I am sitting in my car commuting, or I'm sitting on the couch watching Netflix with my husband, or sitting down to eat. I'm not that active throughout the day, and so I don't need that many calories. I need the amount of calories that my body basically needs for the day based on my BMR, and that is what I go off of in order to kind of create my deficit and in order to kind of calculate all my different macro needs throughout the day. So that is what I'd go off of. Don't go off the fact that you think you're going to be more active once you go on to a lifestyle change, or once you go onto a diet. Don't go off on your best assumptions. Go based on what you're actually doing throughout the day. So once you get that kind of figured out, the second kind of piece to that is the fact that there are lots of people out there that kind of have this calories don't matter, eat as much as you want. And if you are actually trying to lose weight, calories do matter. You do want a deficit, so make sure that you're calculating your macros based on a deficit. Honestly, I don't know why people kind of put that information out there. It doesn't help, and it just provides another confusing layer for people trying to actually obtain weight loss. And so make sure you are fueling yourself at a deficit, so that way when you are in ketosis, you are encouraging your body to go into some of those fat stores that are on your body and use that as energy. So the other thing that might be slowing down your weight loss or stalling you out is that you're consuming too much fat. You might be like, hey, keto is supposed to be the eat all the fat you want diet. Keto is a diet or a lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, where you get into ketosis and your body begins to use fat as fuel. That's the simplest way to explain it. And I know that you're probably thinking, well, I have to fuel myself. I should be consuming more fat then. And the truth of the matter is, figure out what your macros are, your net grams, your grams in general for your carbohydrates and your proteins, and then make sure you're eating those every single day. Make sure that you're getting, fiber in there with your carbs. And then from there, whatever else you need in order to get to that number calorically for where you hit your deficit, then fill in the fat there. You want to encourage your body to go after the fat stores in your body. So if you're eating too much fat, it won't be encouraged to go after that. So that is kind of where you want to create your deficit from. So that's kind of the general kind of things that I wanted to put out there. Make sure you're actually operating at a deficit. Make sure that your macros are actually calculated correctly based on what you're doing 99% of the day, and then make sure that you're not over consuming fat, because keto is a fat-based diet. Once you have those 3 covered, if you're still stalling out and you're not losing weight, these are the 5 things that I think you should do in order to kind of move things along. If you've already lost weight and you've been losing weight and now you're stalling out, recalculate your macros. Every time you lose 5 pounds, you should recalculate your macros to make sure that you are still hitting what your body actually needs. When you are smaller and you lose more weight, your body needs less calories, so you don't need as many calories as you needed before. Every time you lose 5 pounds, recalculate your macros. If you haven't been doing that, that is potentially why you might be experiencing a stall, or you might be not losing weight as fast as you once were. The next thing that you can do is remove certain food groups. If you've been watching my videos, you will see that by removing certain things, I've gotten past a very long stall that I personally was experiencing. And that has helped me to kind of re-pick up the weight loss. I removed basically nuts, dairy, sweeteners, and alcohol were the primary ones that I've removed. I wasn't drinking that much alcohol before, but I think removing that is a great option. Alcohol can shut down your kind of burning, and you will burn that alcohol prior to burning any fat, so that can definitely cause you to stall out. I know that it's hard to give up things like that sometimes, but try that one first maybe. The other one that I think stalls out a lot of people is dairy. We can kind of go into excessive mode with dairy on keto. We can be really into the butter, the cheese, and just eat way more of it than we need. Some people can be silently intolerant of dairy and just not know it, so try removing that one. We can sometimes go a little bit crazy with nuts and eat more than what we need. So if you're not tracking your calories like precisely, you might end up sneaking in more nuts than you meant to, and you might be getting more calories than you meant to. So that is one thing that I would remove. The last one is kind of sweetener replacements. For some people, these can be things that can help to spike your insulin or kind of create that insulin spike within your body, and so that could potentially be slowing you down. So maybe try reducing or removing the amount of, kind of replacement sweeteners you're using, or products that actually still have a small amount of cane sugar or real sugar in them. Just try removing that. So if removing things and recalculating your macros weren't the issue, you might have the silent culprit of hormones. The primary way that I try to balance my hormones is by eating a diet that is as balanced as possible, especially within the omegas. So I try to have the proper balance of omega-3s, 6s, and 9s in order to kind of create that good hormonal balance within my body. So if you are not getting the proper mixture of 3, 6, and 9 omegas in your body, your hormones might be off. So you really want to kind of make sure that you're not over consuming. I will put the ratio here for what you want when it comes to omegas, and the ratios for each kind of in respect to one another. That will hopefully help you balance naturally some hormones. Try to incorporate in more foods that naturally stimulate those hormones, or actually bring those hormones into your body, so that way you can get that balanced. When you have your hormones imbalanced, your body can feel the need to retain weight, or to be very, kind of like, what's going on? Everything's going crazy. What do I do? So you want to make sure you're getting those balanced out, so that way you do lose weight. The other thing that you might be doing that's causing you to not lose weight or causing you to stall is that you might not have the right expectation for what your weight loss should be. And this is one of those things that I think kind of goes into the mental aspect for pursuing weight loss. I have videos up there where I show dramatic body progress, and I've been very lucky, but the progress that I experienced so rapidly initially was mainly due to the fact that my hormones were not balanced. And so I saw a dramatic loss in my abdomen area, and my stomach went from very pregnant looking to not so pregnant looking. And that's where I've seen the majority of my shrinking. And so when I put those images out there. Yes, that is exactly what I've done, but everybody shouldn't expect that. And if you go on a Facebook group and somebody says, wow, in the last 30 days, I've lost, 25 pounds, that's basically a pound a day. Don't sit there and calculate your success based on that. That person could be, having a completely different diet than you had prior, and just doing a dietary lifestyle change could cause them to lose a lot of weight. They could have been retaining a lot of water prior to going keto. Or prior to doing any kind of lifestyle change. They could also be a higher body fat percentage than you, or they could be, just larger in general than you. So when you look at it and you just see that kind of paragraph or that image of somebody else, that can really kind of mess with your mind when you kind of think about, why am I not having the exact same success or replicating the exact same success as somebody else? Just focus on you. What you need to do for you is going to be a set of numbers based on you, and it's going to be very specific to you. And so don't allow the kind of feeling of competition or the I need to lose 5 pounds per week because somebody else did that. Don't let that drive you. Just figure out what your body is willing to lose weight at, what rate that is, and then kind of base it on that. There have been time periods where I was consistently losing a pound per week, and I got to a point where I was barely losing a pound per month. So that was hard to deal with, especially because I had such a huge drop at the beginning. So it does mentally wear on you. Just make sure that you have kind of the right mindset and that you're actually, basing your weight loss timeline and your success based on you and not based on what you've seen other people do. So the last thing that you might be doing, and you might want to try doing, is making sure that you're properly hydrated. And that you have the proper electrolyte balance in your body. So the electrolytes are magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Sodium, salt your food. Sodium's probably the easiest. Magnesium, if you are following a diet in which you are, eating a lot of green leafy vegetables, eating a lot of broccoli throughout the week, you probably won't have too much of an issue getting enough magnesium in. But if you are having difficulties, you can really easily supplement that. Magnesium is found naturally in lots of lots of food, and so it's usually not too hard to get in, and your body doesn't need as much of it as it does with potassium. And I think the foods that naturally have a lot of potassium in them are not necessarily keto friendly foods, but pork loin specifically is a meat source that tends to have a high amount of potassium. I will list here a good source of natural potassium, but as you can see, even if you eat all of these foods every single day, you're not going to hit that 4,800 milligram amount that is needed, and so you're going to need to supplement it. Potassium supports muscle function, and then when that is not working, you can find that you retain water, which could potentially have an effect on how much weight you're losing. So that is why you want to make sure you're actually adding it in there. And as I go back to the other point that I said, you want to make sure that you're drinking enough water. You should be drinking, take your weight, put that in ounces, cut your weight in half, and that is how many ounces you should be drinking of water per day. So if you weigh 160 pounds, you want 80 ounces of water. If you weigh 120 pounds, you want 60 ounces of water, and that's the minimum you should be going after. I know there's a lot of information out there where people are saying, oh, we don't need as much water as we really need, but if you're trying to flush and move things out of your body, having more water in your body isn't necessarily going to harm you, and by drinking more water, you are less likely to reach for, artificial or other drinks, especially on keto. You've already probably removed juice, but this will help you remove or drink less soda, which could potentially be stalling you out or causing you issues. And if you are like me and you drink a coffee in the morning, you really want to make sure that you kind of counteract that caffeine with some water to help kind of, keep your system going good. I think water is important. I find on days where I don't drink enough water, I might see a change in the scale just because I become dehydrated the next day, but the following several days I will stall out. And if I consistently drink water, I don't see that stall ever. So drinking water helps to flush things out of your system, and it's very important, and it makes it so that if you have the right electrolyte balance, you won't retain as much water. So those were my 5 kind of tips or things that you should maybe potentially try if you are, not losing weight as fast as you want to, or you're stalling out, or you're, just not losing weight in general. Just make sure that you've kind of got everything in check. Those 3 at the beginning were kind of the ones that I've gone over several times, and then these additional 5 were ones that I think are important to kind of keep in check and just try out as you go through keto. If you guys could, again, do me the solid and vote in the poll, then I know what topics you guys would like me to go over next week or the next time I do a video. I'm trying to do these every week, but sometimes my life gets a little hectic and it gets a little hard, but my goal is every week. If you did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up because that does really support my channel. And again, as always, it lets me know that you guys are enjoying the videos that I'm putting out there and you're finding them helpful. Yeah, I appreciate that feedback. So until next time, I hope everything is going great on your guys' journey, and I will see you guys later.